Have you ever noticed that the people who are closest to you are sometimes the ones who tell you the most dangerous lies? And I'm not talking about the obvious ones, like cheating, hiding money, or keeping a big secret. Those are easy to see, and eventually they come out. I'm talking about the little sentences that sound harmless, even caring, but over time, they start to eat away at you. Think about it. Maybe a friend once said, "I only want what's best for you." Or a partner told you, "You're just too sensitive." At first, it doesn't sound like much. You shrug it off, maybe even laugh. But then, something happens. You start questioning yourself. You begin to wonder, am I really too sensitive? Am I overreacting? Maybe they're right and I'm wrong. And just like that, the seed of doubt is planted. The truth is, not all lies are shouted in your face. The most dangerous ones are often spoken softly, with a smile, disguised as love, care, or protection. That's what makes them so hard to recognize. Because when a stranger lies to you, you can see it for what it is. But when someone you love does it, you want to believe them. You need to believe them. And that's exactly why these lies are so powerful. They come from people you've let into your heart. Here's the part that most people don't want to hear. Sometimes, the ones who claim to love us the most are the ones who hold us back. They don't always do it out of pure evil. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's insecurity. And sometimes, it's because they need to control you to feel safe themselves. But whatever the reason, the result is the same. You start living a version of yourself that isn't real. A smaller, quieter, weaker version of who you're supposed to be. And if you've ever felt drained in a relationship, like no matter what you do, it's never enough, then you already know what I'm talking about. These little lies add up. They pile on top of each other until you're carrying a weight you can't even see. And one day you wake up and realize you don't trust your own thoughts, your own emotions, or even your own reality anymore. That's why this video matters. Today, we're going to break down 6 of the biggest lies people close to you might tell. Lies that are designed to control you, to manipulate you, or to trap you in a toxic cycle without you even realizing it. And here's the best part. Once you see these lies for what they really are, you can't unsee them. You'll start noticing them everywhere. In conversations, in arguments, even in the smallest comments. And the moment you recognize them, you take back your power. So, stick with me. Because by the end of this video, you won't just hear these 6 lies. You'll feel the truth behind them. And trust me, once you know, you'll never look at certain people the same way again. Are you ready to find out what those lies are? Let's get into it. Let's start with one of the most common lies you'll ever hear. I'll change. On the surface, it sounds hopeful, right? It sounds like the other person finally understands what they've done, and they're ready to become better. For you, for the relationship, for the future. Those words can feel like a warm hug after weeks of chaos. They can make you think, maybe this time it will be different. But here's the harsh truth. Most of the time, I'll change is nothing more than a temporary bandage. It's not about growth, it's about keeping you from walking away. Because real change takes time, effort, and most importantly, action. And action is the part that's usually missing. Think about it. How many times has someone promised you they'd change, only for the same pattern to repeat again and again? They might be on their best behavior for a week, maybe a month, but eventually, the mask slips. The same arguments come back. The same toxic habits resurface. And every time it happens, you feel more drained, more stuck, and less trusting of yourself. Here's the trap. Every time they say, "I'll change," you want to believe them. Because believing is easier than walking away. Believing gives you hope, and hope is addictive. You start thinking, maybe this time it's real. Maybe this time they mean it. But deep down, you already know the truth. Change isn't about words, it's about consistency. And if the only thing that changes is the excuse, then nothing has really changed at all. This lie works because it plays on your compassion. You don't want to give up on someone you care about. You don't want to look like the bad guy who walked away. So you stay, and they keep repeating the same promise, over and over, like a broken record. But here's the reality. If someone truly wants to change, you won't need to hear it. You'll see it. Their actions will speak louder than any apology or promise. They won't just tell you they're different. They'll show you, day after day, with consistency, with effort, and with respect for you and for themselves. So the next time someone looks you in the eye and says, "I'll change," don't focus on the words. Focus on what they do afterward. Do they take real steps? Do they seek help, work on themselves, and prove it through their actions? Or do they fall back into the same cycle and use the same promise to keep you hooked? Remember this. People don't change because they said they would. They change because they chose to. And if you're not seeing that choice in their actions, then all you're hearing is another empty promise. Now let's talk about another classic lie you've probably heard more times than you can count. You're too sensitive. At first, it might seem harmless or even flattering. Maybe someone says it after you react strongly to something, and they frame it as a critique, a joke, or even a lesson in not overreacting. And because we want to be seen as reasonable, kind, and easygoing, we start to question ourselves. Am I really overreacting? Maybe I am too sensitive. And just like that, the seed of self-doubt is planted. Here's the catch. This phrase isn't just an observation. It's a manipulation tactic. By telling you that your feelings are too much, they're implying that the problem isn't their behavior. It's you. Suddenly, you're the one who needs to fix yourself. You start suppressing emotions, hiding your reactions, and even second-guessing your gut instincts. And the effect is cumulative. Every time you hear, "You're too sensitive," it chips away at your confidence. You begin to believe that your emotions are wrong or excessive, even though they're completely valid. And when your feelings are constantly invalidated, you lose touch with yourself. You stop trusting your own judgment, your own reactions, and even your own happiness. This lie is dangerous because it plays on one of the most human traits we have: empathy. People want to understand each other, so when someone tells you that you're too sensitive, it feels like they're offering guidance. But in reality, it's a way to keep you in check, to control how you respond, to limit your emotional expression, and to make you doubt yourself in ways you don't even notice. Here's a truth that might sting. Being sensitive isn't a flaw. Feeling deeply, noticing subtleties, being aware of how others affect you, these are strengths. They make you compassionate, intuitive, and perceptive. The problem isn't your sensitivity. It's the people who want you to believe it's a weakness so they can manipulate you. So the next time someone says, "You're too sensitive," pause and ask yourself, are they trying to help me grow? Or are they trying to control how I feel? Are they protecting me? Or are they protecting themselves? Because there's a big difference, and recognizing it is the first step toward reclaiming your emotional power. Remember, your emotions are valid. Your feelings matter. And anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is not looking out for you. They're just trying to make you doubt yourself. Now let's move on to another dangerous lie. I only care about you. At first, these words can feel incredibly reassuring. Maybe you've heard them during an argument, or in a moment when someone wanted to make you feel special, loved, or safe. And naturally, hearing that someone only cares about you makes your heart relax. You want to believe it. You need to believe it. It feels like the perfect proof that someone truly has your back. But here's the catch. Saying, "I only care about you," doesn't actually mean it's true. In many cases, it's a tool for control. It creates a sense of dependency. You start thinking, if they only care about me, I have to stay. I can't leave. I owe them. Suddenly, the relationship becomes less about mutual respect and more about obligation and guilt. Think about the patterns. When someone constantly emphasizes how much they care, yet their actions don't match their words, that's a red flag. Maybe they say they care, but they manipulate situations to get what they want. Maybe they guilt trip you or make you feel responsible for their happiness. The phrase, "I only care about you," becomes a trap. It's designed to make you doubt yourself and prioritize them over yourself. Here's the hard truth. Real care isn't loud or dramatic. Real care isn't a statement that demands recognition. Real care shows itself in small, consistent actions. It's listening without judgment. It's respecting boundaries. It's supporting you even when it's inconvenient. When someone truly cares, you don't have to hear it in grand declarations. They prove it every day without needing to remind you. This lie works because it preys on one of the most basic human desires, the need to feel loved and valued. Everyone wants to believe that someone genuinely has their back. But when words are used to manipulate rather than support, the same desire that feels comforting also becomes a chain. So next time someone tells you, "I only care about you," pause and observe. Look at the actions. not the words. Do they consistently respect your boundaries? Do they lift you up without asking for anything in return? Or do they use that statement to make you feel obligated, guilty, or trapped? Remember, words are cheap. Actions reveal the truth. And if someone's care is conditional, manipulative, or self-serving, it doesn't matter how often they say it. They aren't truly caring for you. Now let's talk about another lie that's deceptively simple, but can be extremely damaging. It was just a joke. On the surface, it sounds harmless. We're all supposed to have a sense of humor, right? And when someone says, "it was just a joke," it seems like they're brushing off a comment or action that might have hurt you. You might even laugh along at first, thinking, "Okay, fine, it was just a joke." But here's the problem. This line is often used to mask something much darker: disrespect, belittlement, or even control. By calling it a joke, they shift the focus from their behavior to your reaction. Suddenly, it's your fault for being upset. Why are you taking it so seriously? Can't you take a joke? The responsibility for the harm they caused is cleverly pushed onto you. And the thing is, this tactic works because it's socially acceptable. Everyone understands jokes. They're part of our culture, our communication, our humor. So when someone weaponizes humor, it's easy for them to hide behind it without ever being held accountable. Think about how this plays out over time. Maybe it starts with a small joke about your appearance, your habits, or something personal. You laugh, you brush it off, but the next joke comes a little sharper. And the next one even sharper than that. Slowly, the line between humor and insult blurs. What was once framed as playful now becomes a tool to undermine you, to chip away at your confidence, to make you question your worth. Here's the thing. Real humor doesn't make someone feel small. Real humor doesn't rely on putting others down or making them feel embarrassed, anxious, or hurt. Real humor brings people together, creates connection, and lightens the mood, not builds walls of discomfort and doubt. So next time someone says, "it was just a joke," pay attention. Listen to the context, watch their patterns, and notice how it makes you feel. If the laughter always comes at your expense, if you're left doubting yourself or feeling diminished, then it's not a harmless joke. It's a manipulation. Remember, words have power. And when someone hides behind humor to hurt you or control you, it's not playful, it's strategic. Recognizing that distinction is key to protecting your self-respect and your emotional well-being. Now let's dive into another sneaky lie. Everyone is like this. On the surface, it might seem like a harmless observation. Maybe someone says it to justify bad behavior, disappointment, or even betrayal. Everyone lies, everyone cheats, everyone disappoints you. So what did you expect? It sounds like a comforting truth, right? Like they're helping you see reality, helping you manage your expectations. But here's the problem. This phrase is designed to normalize behavior that shouldn't be normal. It's a way to excuse actions that hurt you, to make you believe that mistreatment, betrayal, or disrespect is just a standard part of life. And when you start to accept it, you stop looking for better. You start lowering your standards. You start thinking that maybe you deserve it, or that it's impossible to find anything different. This lie works because it plays on fear and resignation. Fear that if you expect too much, you'll be disappointed. Resignation that the world is always going to be unfair. It's clever because it flips the narrative. The problem isn't them, it's everyone else, and implicitly, it's you if you think differently. Think about it. If every time someone treats you poorly, they shrug and say, "everyone is like this," it's like they're training you to accept less than you deserve. It becomes a pattern. You internalize it. You start excusing behaviors that used to upset you. You stop trusting your judgment because the world is just like that. Here's the truth. Not everyone is like that. Yes, people make mistakes. Yes, betrayal exists. Yes, some people can be selfish or careless. But there are also those who are honest, loyal, and kind. Believing that everyone is the same robs you of the ability to recognize and appreciate the good ones. It keeps you stuck in cycles of disappointment and prevents you from seeking healthier connections. So the next time someone tries to tell you, "everyone is like this," pause. Ask yourself, are they trying to explain reality? Or are they trying to manipulate your perception so you accept something you shouldn't? Because there's a huge difference. Recognizing that difference is how you protect your boundaries, your self-worth, and your future. Remember, not everyone is like this. And once you truly accept that, you'll stop settling. You'll start seeing clearly, choosing wisely, and refusing to let anyone normalize behavior that doesn't serve you. Finally, let's talk about one of the most emotionally charged lies. I'll never leave you. When you hear these words, they can feel comforting, even reassuring. It's human nature to crave security, to want someone by our side no matter what. And hearing someone promise, "I'll never leave you," can make you feel safe, loved, and valued. You want to believe it. You want to trust it. But here's the catch. Saying it doesn't mean it's true. Many people use this promise to manipulate emotions, to keep someone tied to them through fear, guilt, or dependency. It's a way of saying, "Don't question me, don't leave me, because I've promised you loyalty." The words are comforting, but they can mask control, possessiveness, or even emotional abuse. Think about patterns you've seen before. Someone says they'll never leave, yet their actions create uncertainty, tension, or distrust. Maybe they repeatedly break promises, disappear emotionally, or act selfishly, but then they reassure you with the same words, "I'll never leave you." This lie works because it exploits our fear of loss, our desire for stability, and our hope that someone will always be there for us. Here's the truth. Real loyalty isn't just spoken, it's shown. Someone who truly won't leave you demonstrates it through consistent actions, respect, and care. They don't need to constantly remind you of their commitment. They don't threaten your independence or guilt you into staying. Their presence is steady because they choose it every day, not because they made a promise to manipulate your emotions. This lie works because it preys on vulnerability. We all fear being alone, being abandoned, or being rejected. And when someone knows that fear, it becomes easy for them to wrap you in words that sound like love, but feel like chains. So the next time someone tells you, "I'll never leave you," pay attention, not just to the words, but to the actions behind them. Are they showing care through consistent behavior? Do they respect your boundaries? Or are they using the phrase to control, guilt, or trap you? Remember, promises are empty without action. Security isn't guaranteed by words alone. True loyalty is proven over time through trust, respect, and consistent effort. And if the words aren't backed by actions, they're just another way to manipulate your heart. So now that we've gone through all 6 lies, the ones that manipulate, control, or distort your sense of self, let's take a moment to reflect. Each lie we discussed shares a common thread. They try to make you doubt your instincts, your worth, or your reality. Whether it's being told you're too sensitive, "I only care about you, it was just a joke," or "everyone is like this," the goal is the same: to shift power away from you and put it in someone else's hands. Recognizing these lies is the first step toward reclaiming your emotional freedom. Awareness gives you the ability to pause, to question, and to see beyond the words. It allows you to notice patterns, to trust your feelings, and to protect your boundaries. Here's the key takeaway. Words alone don't define reality. Actions, consistency, and respect do. Your emotions are valid. Your experiences matter, and no one has the right to manipulate you into believing otherwise. So remember this: being aware, staying mindful, and trusting yourself are the strongest tools you have. They empower you to see through lies, to navigate relationships more wisely, and to choose connections that uplift rather than diminish you. At the end of the day, the more you recognize these manipulations, the more you protect your emotional well-being. And the more you protect your well-being, the freer and stronger you become, capable of living authentically, confidently, and without unnecessary doubt.